Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to What Do You Say Anime. I'm your host, Peter. On today's episode, we will be giving our first impressions on the currently airing fall 2023 season, focusing more on the new shows and not sequels, because if you're watching Shield Hero Season 3 at this point, I simply ask why. Joining me today is my PYTBOBPIC non-POC. We got Miles. Miles, how's it going?
What? What does that stand for?
Pretty young Thang, bombs over Baghdad, partner in crime, non-person of color.
Yep. That describes me.
Especially the pretty young Thang.
Yes. Yeah, I guess I should have caught that part because of the, thing. I thought BYOB. Oh, no, it's just B.O.B.?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I was thinking of the System of a Down song really quickly, but...
You could BYOB.
Okay,
build your own. What are you sipping on right now? Is that a Snapple?
Oh, yeah. It's a Snapple Zero Sugar because I'm fat.
I know, I did. In my water bottle, I have Gatorade Zero because I am also fat.
Yeah, that's...
Well, it is wonderful for you to join me today on our illustrious journey of the fall season. And without further ado, speaking of adventures, let's jump into our first series that doesn't really need an introduction. Oh, I got my manga right here. It's Frieren, a show that I'm fully caught up on the manga. Miles has read several volumes. And going into this, we had Madhouse at the helm, which is my favorite studio. We had Adam Call, there we go, doing the music, who did Violet Evergarden and stuff like that. Pretty high expectations coming into this, thinking it was going to be Anime of the Year level quality, and it turns out it is, because this shit is fucking insane. There's so many good things to say about this. I think like the adaptation itself is pretty spot on with like its pacing and where we're going. 28 episodes confirmed, and we're at the point of recording, we are 7 episodes through. And one interesting thing about Frieren that it's fun to see, especially if you're an analytics guy like me, is, with like Oshinoko, like it starts off like super hot and then just gradually goes down over time. Frieren started hot, went down, and is slowly going back up, which is a very rare thing to see in like super hyped anime. So that's a great sign, I think, for what's to come and what are people's reception of it. Miles, what are your first impressions so far on Frieren?
First, you forgot the most important member of the staff. The director, I believe, directed the greatest anime of all time. My personal favorite show, and reigning anime of the year. And I honestly think it may repeat, even though that's illegal.
Well, if it's the Crunchyroll Awards, it's eligible for the 2023 Anime of the Year, so maybe?
Yes. Which I wasn't against that change until I learned that they were airing it in like April and like
March or something. Yeah,
that's so silly. Like anyways, I love Frieren. I think it's really good. It hits such a neat note where you have this different tone of adventure than you normally do. There are definitely some stakes, right? Like things are happening in the background and everything. And you'll start to see that. I guess people have started to see that already, right? But it's also like there was an adventure, and there's a lot of like self-reflection and like character growth and everything. And I think it's so good, and they've done such a great job of animating it, adding the score, which is beautiful, and it's great. So Kayla and I watched this together. I was like, I really wanted to watch the show with me, and she was like, okay, fine, I'll watch your stupid show. And then she was like, can we watch some more after? So, I legitimately think this is like a great anime for like anyone. Like if you've been trying to get your non-anime friends into anime, I think this is a good shout for it. Because I just think it's a very good fantasy story that has a lot of really well-written characters and human elements. It's everyone can relate to someone in this story, I feel like.
I think that's really good. I think one thing that I'm really enjoying with this is sort of showing in flashbacks the hero's journey and their party and sort of like the things that they did along the way and sort of where Frieren is now, and kind of that tying it back to their journey and now their current journey. And I like how they kind of are meshing that together in sort of this storytelling type of way, because I think in the manga they did an okay job at this. I do think that in the anime it's been elevated in multiple levels. Where to me, honestly, it feels like every episode is like 7 minutes long. They do such a great job at whether it's the dialogue, whether it's serious. I think there's some points where, in the newest episode, what episode are you on right now?
We've watched up through 5 because my wife likes dubs, but I mean, I know what happens because I've read it. So
I don't
if you want
too many spoilers, but like,
okay, yeah,
the story does like a really good job at portraying this message of like life, but at the same time having it be enjoyable and funny. So we had dialogue with like Himmel of why he wanted the statues essentially to be constructed and why he was so passionate on like how it looked and wanted him to look good, because these are just going to be memories later down the road. I want to look as good as I can to like the people 100 years from now who might not like remember me, type of thing. And I think that's like a great way of sort of like having this serious thought of life and Frieren's next journey, but at the same time having this comedic appeal where I can laugh at this dialogue while it's still kind of heavy. And I think it does a really good job at meshing those two elements together of just having really fun dialogue with a compelling story of it being a journey with Frieren, the journey with the hero's party, death, all of these like great, like I guess multiple themes that you can introduce to the story, and just meshing it all together is sort of like what really ties me to Frieren more than anything. And I think just the anime is killing.
Yeah, I completely agree. I just think it does such a good job. You have such a good source material, and a lot of times when you get these adaptations, they don't adjust it to the media as much as you could, which is fine, right? But like sometimes you get stuff like the aforementioned Bocchi the Rock, right? Is like a 4-panel comedy thing, but they take the spirit of this director, so I'm guessing he has a lot to do with it. So he really knows how to take something and then adapt it well for this, and how like, okay, we can enhance these parts for it. And I honestly think they've done a good job of like, there are moments and spreads and stuff in Frieren that I love in the manga that they didn't like adapt. And at first I was sort of sad about that, like just like the imagery wasn't there. But then I realized that like still images are different.
Yep.
And so like you can't just have that static on the screen forever. So maybe it was like a good decision to, cut some stuff. So I think it's been a masterful adaptation. I think it's wonderful. For me, and this is interesting, and I want to ask you about this. Frieren's demeanor is a little different than I imagined it while reading.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. And so I guess to me, I love this adaptation, don't get me wrong, but like I guess I prefer my headcanon Frieren, who is a little less matter of fact when talking about her past. Is sort of my thought. Because like currently she's very like, there's no doubt in her voice sort of ever. When she's like, oh, I don't know if I miss these people or like miss this thing or whatever. I'm trying to figure that out. And there's no questioning in her voice. And I think that's an interesting way to play it. But that's not how I imagined it.
No, for sure. Yeah. I wonder if it's just like one of these things where like you're talking about before, the creativity of like this director and their staff. Sort of what they brought to life with Bocchi, bringing to life in their own way with Frieren. And I agree to like to a point. Because it's hard. It's hard for like what I imagine Frieren in the manga compared to the director compared to what you were thinking. I would say for the anime, it's to the point where like I think they did like a good enough job of what they thought Frieren was supposed to be, where like I'm invested into it now. Where like I agree, it's not the same thing that was in my head when I was reading it, but I think like what they did with it is plenty passable.
Yeah, like you see different actors play iconic characters in different ways, right? And like you don't like you have a favorite, but you can like multiple of them, and that's sort of how I view this. One thing that I found, and you sort of touched on this, but the humor I think in the anime really stands out because it's because there's less focus on it. I think you have these scenes where they're walking and they're doing something, and Fern's like, what is the spell we just got, while other things are happening, right? And like you see them shopping or whatever, and and Frieren's like, oh, this spell dissolves clothes or whatever. They're
You can
always
see
like,
through clothes, yeah.
yeah, they're always like vague. Well, there's a potion that dissolves only clothes
Yeah.
too, right? Like there's things. So like they're always like mildly lewd. In the manga, those weren't like my favorite, but that's because like the whole panel was focused on this joke, but it's sort of like a passing like miss it if you're not quite paying attention thing in the anime, and I like that. I like that. I think it adds to her personality how frankly she talks about these things and like how she doesn't realize. They just do a good job of portraying that. I think those were moments that I thought were pretty highlighted by the anime.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think there's some parts where like for the comedy, like, you know, they made the small dick joke. They made like the flipping up Frieren's skirt, and him was like, I've been trying for 10 years to see that. Like, how could you do something like that? I think some of that stuff I think could be hit or miss for some people. I think how it's very brief in like the overall story where, like, you know, if it's a 5-second blip of that, that's perfect. And I think that's what we're getting. And it's still like it's showing that like they can have fun on their adventures while battling the Demon King or trying to figure out like love and stuff like that. It's like you can still mix in a dick joke every now and then. It still hits because, you know, I think like the chemistry between the cast is like really well and really good, and I'm really enjoying Fern more than I did in the manga already. I think her voice actress has been fantastic, and yeah, it's just been fantastic. That's really the only thing I can think more that we already haven't touched on.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a pretty big Rika Farud fan, and since Fern is just Rika Farud, and no one can convince me otherwise, I'm about it as well.
Okay, right on. So one of the things that we want to do with this first impressions is sort of like talk about. Well, first we're gonna give our recommendations. Obviously, this is a must watch for me. I'm assuming it's also a must watch for Miles.
Yes.
And then we're going to give our score of what we think we're going to give it at the end of the season. And then we'll look back at this and see if we're right. So I'm going to be way higher than I think on most people. I think Frieren by the end of this will be a generational anime. I think this is one of these anime that we're going to be talking about for, you know, like 10 years from now. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like Madoka level of like talking about it 10 years after the fact, but I think I just think like what it's doing right now with like its budget, with its casting, and how much content we're getting, it's just not seen that often for this style of show, to be honest. So I'm fully on board that. Like, I think that this is going to be something people will be talking about for the next 10 years. I think it's going to be a 10. I think this is like, for people, depending on how you do anime of the year stuff, this is anime of the year quality, if not the front runner. It's going to be really hard to beat Vinland, but through 7 episodes, I can try to nitpick, and it's like they said a dick joke twice or something like that. Like that's my negative criticism of the show. Other than that, it's been like the pacing has been fantastic. The adaptation's been incredible. The animation, the dragon fight in episode 6, you'll get there, is movie quality. Like, it's insane what they are doing with this property. I think it's incredible. I think by the time it's all said and done, I'm giving this a 10.
I agree. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's a world where I give it a 9 or something. I don't know. But I mean, it's very good, and I think everyone should watch it. I suspect I'll give it a 10. The only way I could see them not is if they really butcher what's there on the manga. You know what I mean? The only reason that I think that it has the like generational is like I get it, but we're not done yet, and ending things is hard for people traditionally.
Yeah.
And like I always get worried, you know, because like think about how bad endings just
the Darling
kill
in the
things.
Franks effect. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Which that's generational for a different reason.
Yeah. So like, you know, like my concern is that, you know, as it goes on, it either doesn't get wrapped up tightly or like the ending is, and I really don't know how you would do it with this particular story, but people have surprised me before. Usually people get like, they think they have to end something like pretty big brained or whatever, and I've never gotten that vibe from this. This is actually a relatively simple story, all things considered.
Yep.
It's just very personal and relatable. So I suspect that won't happen, but you never know. Game of Thrones could have just ended well, and it didn't.
Yep, that's true. You're making good points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you that I think this will be a big thing, and like I think the worst case scenario for this is that for people are like, yeah, watch until season 3 and then stop. You know what I mean? Like that's the sort of worst case scenario for this show.
Yeah. I'm just looking forward to it because if and when we get more content, like if we get like a second season, then we get like my personal favorite arc of Frieren. And I think it's just going to elevate it even more. It's kind of like what JJK I think is doing right now with this season, where like a lot of people like season 1, Miles included. Season 2 is like another level up. And I think Frieren is kind of the same way. And just seeing the reception that we have so far through 7 episodes is so great because I'm such a huge Frieren stan that it's getting all the love that I would hope it would get. So props to Madhouse, props to Evan Call, props to everybody who's spreading the gospel of Frieren. So all my Frieren homies out there, I love you.
Trent, watch it.
Yeah, Trent. Editing this video. Next up, though, that's enough Frieren. That was a good Frieren conversation. We have the Apothecary Diaries, which recently aired all 3 of its currently airing episodes on Saturday, and I believe we both watched all 3 episodes.
We did.
The thing that I saw the biggest complaint was the pacing of episode 1, which I actually, hot take, loved it. They got straight to the point where we don't need to see this backstory of Mao Mao, I feel like. Like, I think we got like a glimpse of like what her life was going to be before she's getting kidnapped.
Yeah, okay. So I don't disagree that getting straight to the point is good. I agree. And we're going to talk about that in, I think, 2 shows, because at some point I don't need to hear Spider-Man's intro anymore.
Sure.
You know what I mean? What I will say for this particular show is that I think they played her getting kidnapped as like a bit of a joke.
A little bit, yeah.
And like,
it didn't seem like it was that big of a deal. Like it's a common occurrence. Like, I guess I'm kidnapped now.
Yeah, and then like everyone was like very chill with it. But like, I guess my thought is, I think that was supposed to show us some of her personality, right? That she's like a very practical person, and I like that. I like Mao Mao. I think she's a great character. I do think that I agree with that criticism of episode 1. I'm going to say it's not even pacing. I just think that you can like tonally do getting kidnapped and sold into slavery differently.
I it's one of those things where like I get why other people don't like it. I personally like the fact that we got to. It's like this is a joke, but kind of. It reminds me of House, like. House, I just want him to be in the hospital doing his mysteries and stuff like this. With the Apothecary Diaries, I want her to do her apothecary things and figuring out the mysteries inside of the castle type of thing. I'm smooth brain. It's easy for me.
Yeah, no, I don't agree. I mean, I don't disagree with getting straight to the point. I think that's fine. I think that maybe you could have just changed the tone a little bit, or, I mean, you didn't need a ton more. 2 minutes just to explain some stuff, maybe? I don't know.
Or maybe just like omit it like really altogether, like start the story in the castle and then maybe get like flashbacks to see like who she was in the past type of thing, maybe?
Yeah, maybe. There's ways to do it. I don't know. Ultimately, it doesn't matter because it was done very quickly and we're on a train and we're going, right?
We are.
So
I think the 3 episode thing was great because of this.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Because like it lets we didn't have a week to talk about how the pacing was bad. And really, the pacing's only bad for like 5 to 10 minutes of episode 1. Like, it's fine after that, and I'm not even convinced that it's the pacing, as I've mentioned. So, and anyway, I don't know. I really like the show. It has my favorite OP of the season.
Ooh. This reminds me a lot like Frieren, where I like the song, but it doesn't match the show for me. Where I was like, this is a good song to listen to by itself, but like, when I was watching it with the animations, I was like, this ain't hitting for me. So
I think it's going to, we're getting a sense of her, like, because I don't think we've met future Mao Mao yet. I mean, I don't think we haven't met future Mao Mao yet, right? Like, I think Mao Mao is going to have one heck of a rise to power in this, and I think it fits more because we have like diva, sexy Mao Mao. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. Like behind her. This is the only way I can describe it,
sure.
Though, right? Like, I'm
just trying to catch a slip in my band.
No, that's fair. But like in the in like the back, and like she's like hugging her younger self or whatever. Like I guess I'm just interested. I'm very interested to see where this character goes.
Yeah, I know a lot of people enjoy Mao Mao as a character, based off of like what I've seen on like Twitter and people who have read the source material. So Mao Mao is, I think once we get a little bit more, will be like a prominent standout character this season. I do like we're kind of like what we got introduced to so far, but yeah, I guess I need more time to let her cook essentially.
Oh, that's interesting. You know, maybe it's because I'm biased because I'm a chemist, but like I'm a huge Mao Mao fan. Like I love that she experiments on herself. I think that's super.
That was
cool.
super cool. That was great.
You know, she has all of that. So I like her. I like that she also like gets tricked by like she's not flawless in like a fun way, right? Like Jinchi does like the you with the freckles stay. And like she stays, and then she realizes like she was the only person who could read. Like there's a lot of fun interplay there. I like, you know, because her name means cat in Chinese, so I like the cat like thing they do with her. I like how like excited she gets about like making drugs and stuff. Is it because I'm a pharmaceutical biochemist?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Let's cook.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know. I'm a big Mao Mao fan. I think she's probably like my standout original character or new character from the season.
I gotta give her more time just because I think just because we've gotten 7 episodes of Frieren where I think Fern really sticks out to me as like the best girl so far this season. But Mao Mao, I'm gonna let her cook. Don't worry. But you mentioned it before, like sort of like the things that Mao Mao does and like her interactions with other people, I really enjoyed. I like the brothel stuff that she was doing before and kind of like experimenting. I don't know what got her into like trying out these drugs, but being in a brothel where there's a lot of diseases running around definitely makes sense to me of someone's like setting up shop to test out diseases type of thing. And then we got introduced to Jinchi, who is the husbando of the series. I thought that his interactions with Mao Mao were really fun. Sort of like teasing and flirting in a kind of way where I think Jinchi is very interested in Mao Mao. I don't know about like romantically, but just like she's not like most girls type of thing. And then Mao Mao being absolutely repulsed by Jinchi and like everything he does. It's like, oh, gross. And all the girls are fawning over him. And she's like, you're disgusting.
He's very amused by it too, but like sometimes he gets her, you know what I mean? Like she definitely isn't into him currently. I suspect that because they did the like they accidentally bump into each other trope where it like shows them passing, and so like I don't think that's ever happened with two people who aren't going to be fucking later, but like
True.
Yeah, that's a big clue. You know, but they have a really interesting relationship, and I like that it's giving like they have like time to develop it and everything. Do you think he's a eunuch? I'm not sure. I feel like he might not be. Like he might be like a secret not eunuch.
Too early to tell.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just always throwing stuff out there because like people only remember your hits, so
True.
remember it.
True.
Remember it, team. Unless it's wrong, then don't forget it.
You're making good points.
But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lot of fun. They have sort of like this overarching thing about her life in the palace, and then like you have like your episodic stuff as well. But those are all pretty interesting so far. Like I like all of the things that they've gone into, and all of them teach you something pretty interesting about the environment that she's living in this like Chinese imperial palace. And I think, you know, what I would love to see is like it build on itself and these lessons come back and everything and like be applied moving forward. I think that's my favorite way episodic shows do stuff. Like you can do the episodic thing, but like if you build on it and remember what happened, it's always a plus.
Agreed. Kind of like what I'm hoping for. I don't know if this is a good comparison because I really like House and it reminds me of House. So it's kind of like where each episode is like its own thing. We're getting 2 cores of this, so I'm hoping for like we still get like these 1 episode mini mysteries, and then I hope there's like a 3 to 4 episode like bigger picture, bigger deal type of mystery that Mao Mao has to figure out to really advance like kind of like what she's doing inside of the castle. But It's been a lot of fun. If you saw Raven of the Inner Palace and you like that show, I think this is an absolute must watch. I'm enjoying it more than Raven of the Inner Palace, and I really enjoyed Raven of the Inner Palace. To me, this is like a borderline of like must watch slash highly considered, just because like the production value is like really good. The characters are really fun. The dialogue was great. I think at the end of the season, I'm probably gonna give this like a high 8, low 9 is kind of my expectations.
Yeah, I expect to be around there as well. I would also consider. I mean, I think everyone's a chemist in their own way, and they should watch this show. I don't know. I really liked it. I had a lot of fun with this. Kayla really liked it. I think it has a lot of different elements going for it. I think it's got, like, I also like mysteries, and there's a lot of mystery in this. I don't know. I think this is just a mild show in like a lot of ways. So
it's just a good show. Really
it's good. Show. It's for sure good.
All right, that's enough of Apothecary Diaries. Moving on to our favorite SAO clone. Just kidding. We got Shangri-La Frontier. As the time of recording, I believe episode 4 came out yesterday. I'm fully caught up. Miles has seen like 2 episodes. As somebody who is a big fan of like Log Horizon and more of like the in-game stuff being like you're staying on the path of like what makes like an MMO style of game. Not just throwing in like random elements that you think is fun, like what actually is in these type of games. I think Shangri-La is doing like a pretty solid job at doing that. There's a few things I'm gonna nitpick where just being like a big like MMO nerd that if it was me, I probably would have quit this game in like a second. But that being said, the animations have been fantastic in Shangri-La, much better than I thought it was going to be, just because of what I saw on the manga. The manga is like good art, but not great. So I really wasn't expecting the animation to be anything above standard, like full dive / isekai style shows, but it's definitely a notch above. So I give credit to that. The OP is probably my favorite OP of the season so far. It makes me want to run through a wall. It's just really fun. And so far, we really haven't been introduced to like a whole lot of characters, but you'll see it at the end of episode 4, Miles. I'm just gonna name her Mommy. Mommy is essentially introduced, and she looks like Mommy, and I'm a big fan. So I'm interested to see where the story goes after we sort of get like the cast involved, because like really right now Sunraku is more just like a solo player, and I'm assuming down the road he'll have to group up. So Miles, what are your initial thoughts on Shangri-La Frontier?
Yeah, I think it's unfair to call this SAO clone because Kirito had at least one male friend.
True.
I liked this. I thought this was fun. I think it's just like your basic isekai. You can insert debate if full dive, VR,
yeah.
whatever. Is isekai or not. But is this the one that someone commented telling us it wasn't an isekai?
Yeah, that I was spreading misinformation because I actually said it was an isekai. When it's like, my bad, dude, you knew what I was saying.
Here's a spoiler alert. The video game is a different world, and they go into it. It's an isekai.
I'll run with it. I'm cool with that.
I mean, for Christ, everyone considers SAO an isekai, right? Like,
I feel like most people just throw the isekai tag on it, even if it's not. But it's like, who cares? Like,
okay, I you know what? Here's another one. The stupid one with Maple. That's an isekai too. Bofuri. Yeah.
First of all, also not an isekai. Stupid. Watch your mouth.
Yeah, sorry. Anyways, I liked the show. I thought it was pretty good. I think it's like your standard isekai romp, which is what I think I started saying. But like everything is one notch better than your normal standard isekai romp, right? Like I think the game is a little bit more interesting of a world. Like they've actually introduced us to like some systems and like explained them a little bit. They go into like the mechanics of it a bit, which is sort of fun. Our main character seems like an interesting guy. Like I like speedrunning a lot, right? And so his hobby of playing jank games in like a lot of ways is like similar to that. He likes breaking mechanics and like learning things like that. And so, he was really excited to play like a well-made game. That like annoyed me a little bit, but because like that's not how games work, really. Mm-hmm. Like it's like there is. I don't know. It was weird. It was like, I guess it's supposed to be like this perfect game in like some ways. And like, we don't have that tech. So maybe that. So it does like some of the isekai stuff of like extraing the real life factors of
Sure.
it, I guess, a little bit. But like, I think that's okay and about what you would expect. Um, it seems like there's going to be like a fun little love story that'll probably never get resolved um going on, but like if you like, you know, romance is like a B plot, it seems like we're probably going to get that. It also has like the neat thing where the girl's like really 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 good at the game already, it appears.
Yeah, like his childhood friend or whatever.
Yeah, like she's like, you know, some freaking top tier, you
She
know,
raids on
player or
Echo
whatever.
or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I mean, I liked it. I'm definitely going to be watching more of it. I think that this is the kind of show that I think I'll probably give a 7 or an 8, and I'll watch one season of it. And if season 2 comes out, I'll never watch that because I'll have been happy with the 12 episodes of the
Well,
show
it's
I
getting
watched.
2 cores, so
Then I will be happy with the 16 episodes of the show that I watched.
oh, you're on drop it 2/3 of the way through, huh?
Just like Eminence and Shadow.
Yeah, well, I don't blame you for that one. Speaking of which,
It's
season
like the highest rated isekai ever, by the way. It's like
if you like male power fantasy isekais, Eminence and Shadow is a 10 out of 10. I gave it a 6.
I am atomic.
Things with this, I'm not going to spoil it for Miles, but there's like a curse that happens with his character.
Pete, what the fuck you just told me?
Well, there's a curse, but like I'm not telling you what the curse is.
Okay. He gets the dumb bird mask stuck to his head.
I think that's explained in episode 1 that it's stuck to his head forever or something like that, or episode 2. It's stuck there, but like there's some things where it's like when you are playing this game, if this happened to me in the game, I would have quit the game in a heartbeat, regardless of how good it is, just because it just ruins the character. That's like really nitpicky. I think this show is like super fun with like what it's doing and the elements that it portrays in this, I guess, like live action, or it's not turn-based or whatever the RPG style combat's called. Whatever Black Desert Online is essentially is. It's like not tab targeting, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm just rambling, but like it has cool like RPG elements that I really enjoy in my style of show. If you're a fan of like Log Horizon and like SAO and that Full Dive MMO that came out, or Bofree, I think this will be like right up your alley. I think when it's all said and done, this is probably gonna be like an 8-ish, maybe like low 8, high 7. I would like
That's where I expect to have it too.
yeah, I want, because I know people really like the source material, and I think some shit goes down where I think it could be elevated. I'm just really intrigued to see what that element is, because right now it's like fun, a really fun and enjoyable 8. And I mean, I'd love to be shocked to see if it goes up higher or something like that, but to me, I think that's kind of where my ceiling is.
I'm excited to meet the rabbit guy who smokes the pipe
Ooh.
in the OP. I don't know if we've met him yet.
You will meet him in episode 3/4.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Don't you worry.
I'm excited about him. I mean, he was like something that caught my eye in the OP.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I suspect it'll just be like an enjoyable isekai that if someone's like, hey, I'm looking for an isekai to watch, it's like something you would throw out there, like, you know, Log Horizon or something.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's not like overly, it's not ReZero. I feel like you need ReZero is like a certain person you need to be to like watch that. And like if you're that person that's like elevated above something like this, but like I think this is just something that'll be solid for anyone who likes, you know, lit RPG sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's like if you like the style of show, you can tell that the budget, the production, everything is one level above standard VR anime. And I think this will be a really good one to add to your plan to watch / hopefully watching. So
I've been looking at what the studio did. Like they did Reincarnated as a Sword. They
which
did
was solid.
Orange is yeah, but this is like a step above those, I think, right?
For sure.
Like as far as production value goes, I know that people really liked Reincarnated as a Sword, and I didn't watch a ton of it, so I don't know about like the story and everything. But like I would say this definitely improved on the production value of that.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
So for me, this is like, watch it if you like this style of show. If you don't like the style of show, I don't think it's going to be good enough to like hold your attention. So if you're a fan of video games and that style of shows or whatever, I think this is a good one to add to your list. Moving on to our Yuri block. We got I'm in love with the Villainous. As of recording, I've seen 3 episodes. Miles, I think you've seen 2?
And read a volume of the light novel.
And read a volume of the light novel. So far, my impressions are, for the Villainous animes that we have gotten throughout the years, I think they've all been pretty solid. I don't know if any of them have been bad. And then outside of a few episodes of like the Katarina Kleiss one, what's
My Next Life as a Villainous?
My Next Life as a Villainous. There's nothing that's been like really stand out to me where it's like this is the staple for like Villainous anime or this style of show. I think I'm in Love with the Villainous started off hot, and then as we are progressing, it's sort of shifting the tones a little bit, which is a good thing. But I do feel like that this is going to fall in that 7 to 8 category down the road with, repetitive situations that we've seen in other Villainous and not really expanding on that. But I will say through 3 episodes, the first episode had me rolling. I thought it was super fun. And the third episode with like the really pro like gay LGBT stuff was awesome to see. I know a lot of people on Twitter were praising kind of like what they were representing in it, where it wasn't Yuri bait. They had like a real conversation about like being gay and like not liking men. And I think a lot of times that's like hinted at, or it's like swept under the rug. It's never really like addressed. And in episode 3, they like really addressed it. And I thought that was a really cool standout from this style of show. So I gotta give props where props is due. That was an awesome message to send. And I am looking forward to seeing more of this. Miles, what are your initial thoughts on I'm in Love with the Villainous?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about this adaptation. I think they've done a good job with Rei. I think they've made her slightly less horny, which I think is a good call. Rei still gaslight gatekeep girl bosses her way into Claire's heart. But I think it's like a little less, I guess like the comedic tone and like how they play it off helps, like, because when you're just like reading it, like technically what Rei's doing, I believe, is sexual harassment.
Yeah, I think so too.
Which was like concerning to me going into this, like to see how they did that in the anime, because there's always, I mean, animes or whatever, but like I think they do a good job. We're also getting to see, I think Claire's like a really cool character. Yeah, it's of course I do, but like, yeah,
that's peak character design.
Yeah, I mean, what am I supposed to do? Not like that?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, but like in episode 2, they have like that scene of her in bed, and I think she's like trying to get to know Rei more and like understand her angle, and I think it sort of shows you like where she's come from. In episode what I think is interesting about this is that they and I don't necessarily know this is enough to like set it apart from other things, but where I think it excels from what I have seen or what I've read and seen is that it goes into the characters' psyches and like fleshes them out in a good way. Mm-hmm. It's like compared to My Next Life as a Villainous, All Roads Lead to Doom, I think that those characters they're all very fun, mind you, but mostly two-dimensional.
Sure.
Where I think you really get to understand these characters more. Like even the princes who are not love interests, right? Like get fleshed out and everything. And I think that that's like pretty cool. I think it's very fun to see how bored Rei is with them too. Like I like that sort of thing. I don't know. I just enjoy it. I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I just like really like Yuri content. So, I notoriously gave Yuri as my job a 9.
You did, and I dropped it.
It's so fucking good.
How do we tell him?
Hey man, you just said you liked things that had sincere talks about, like being queer and all of that.
I do.
Yuri is my job. It's right there.
I'm sorry. Well, the first episode sucks, so.
First episode is honestly pure art. It's Cosette, if you listen to this, you said you were going to watch it. Do it. Do it.
I guess what I want to see with the show is
what do you want to see? Like that's what I'm interested.
Well, because from what I was told, like they are like a couple, and the beginning episode it didn't seem like it was going to go on that path, but then the third episode, Claire really stands up for Ray, and I think that was like I think that's like kind of like the defining point of like, okay, now we might be shifting our attention towards Claire viewing Ray in a different light. And so that's what I'm hoping to see goes with this story. I just don't want it to fall into the trap of other Villainous shows where we get like the same thing, like kind of like the same like conflicts that happen or something like that.
Okay, yeah.
Where like, she has an arranged marriage and she has to fight her father over who she marries. And it's like, no, do something fun and unique, because I think so far they've set it up where it can be fun and unique.
What I will say is that if she wants to ever marry Ray, then she'll probably have to fight her father about that. It just seems like what will happen. I mean, you are correct in the sense that like in game, right? Like Claire is in love with Thane, and that is the like established dynamic going into this.
Yep.
And Ray, and let me know how much of this has been presented in the anime as of yet, but like Ray's initial goal is to get them together to make Claire happy.
Yes.
Okay. So I wouldn't suspect to see that sort of continue ad infinitum. Like, you know, I don't know how much of it is going to be completely unique. They're definitely going to have. So I mean, it's a Villainous show.
No,
right?
for sure.
Like, yeah,
I guess it's more along the lines of like, I just think how episode 1, how they switched up with like the dialogue, and it was like, you know, like how blunt Ray was. Like Ray was so in your face with who she was the first episode. That's what like gravitated to me towards like, I'm like, okay, this is different. Like someone with like Katarina is a little bit more ditzy and dense when it comes to like relationships, and she couldn't get it. Ray seems like she gets it, gets everything. I like that about her character. I hope they do cool and fun like things with it. Like I thought like the scoring test where like her scale was like like measurable. That's fun. I like when you do stuff like that. That was cool. Stuff like that.
Did you like her blackmailing Claire's father?
Yeah, that was great. Are you kidding me? Yeah, so far it's been like keep it up with what they're doing here. I just don't want it to fall into traps of later or of previous Villainous shows.
Yeah, I mean, I think what at the very least you get is, you know, and I'm not super further than this, right? Like I've only read like one novel, so like we're
probably on the same page or same page.
Yeah, like it cuts me through maybe like episode 6 or so.
Oh, okay.
But like, what I would suspect is that you just get Ray's snarky commentary on these sort of tropes, and like her. Because what she does is like she's like, I don't know, she's aware that she's in a game and the rest of them are, but like she does it more. She like plays to that fact. Or I think they explain it more maybe than the other shows, where other ones will be like, oh, I have to do this to get off the route, but she's like very like she words her bet with Claire because she knows what events are coming. Like there's a lot of playing up with that I think is fun. And then she's also just a fun character.
For sure.
I like her. Yeah.
For sure. Yep. So for me, I think if you're a fan of Villainous shows, I think that this is one of the best ones I've seen so far through 3 episodes. Really fun dialogue, really great messaging. If this is your first Villainous show, I think this is probably an okay first Villainous show as well. I think.
Yeah, I think you get the gist. I mean, they're not hard to grasp.
No,
right?
For sure. But I guess it's like as we're getting saturated with Villainous shows, you kind of have like your pick of the litter type of thing to be your first one. I think this one would be solid to get you introduced. I think My Next Life as a Villainous is sort of just like the default answer, but just because of like how much content there is and how much content we're still going to get.
Yeah. Something that's unique about this one is that Ray isn't the Villainous, right?
True. That is true.
Like you usually your isekai bum, bum, bum.
Yeah, but I think this is probably going to be, you know, I think this will be in the 7-8 range for me when it's all said and done. I'm looking forward to watching it week to week.
Yeah, and I suspect that I'll probably give this an 8 and act like it's a 10.
Cool. I'm perfectly cool with that. Continuing on with our Yuri block, we have Stardust Telepath, a cute girls doing cute things show where one of the characters is claimed to be an alien and they want to build rockets because Yumika, aka Bochi the Rocket. You like that one?
Yeah.
Crickets. Okay, damn it, dude. I thought that one was so good. Okay.
But the other you is Bochi. She has pink hair.
No, she's not Bochi. No. She's
Because Yumika's a fucking loser.
Wow, okay. You said it, not me. I think she's just trying to find her own way, and that's going to outer space and meeting alien. Reminds me a lot of...
I wonder why she got bullied. Anyways.
Wow. I'm gonna bully you, my friend. Reminds me a lot of like DIY. In this case, they're just building rockets and being friends together and figuring each other out. It has girl love attached to it. I can kind of see where maybe that might lead to, but for the most part, I just feel like this is just like a cute girls doing cute things, trying to Bochi her way out of situations. Miles, you love this show. What are your initial thoughts on Stardust Telepath?
This show is fine. It's not for me. It's just too moe for me. I probably am not going to be watching more of this. I mean, it is exceptionally moe, folks. Like, if you haven't watched this, and like this makes freaking Yuru Camp look like darker than black. Like, there's just like a lot going on. I think it's probably good for what it is, which is just like a sugar rush sweetness overload if you're into moe. What I'll say is that if you watch one episode of this, like, I think the girls love part is like very apparent, at least them alluding to it.
See, the second episode kind of did a switch on me, but then the third episode brought me back to where I was.
Okay, because like they were like episode 1, which is all I've watched and all I will ever watch of the show, to be frank. Unless someone tells me it's really good.
If I slide you a 20 and be like, "Here, watch this,"
I would not watch the show for $20.
Yeah, that's fair.
My time is more valuable than that. But that's not because the show is bad. It's just because the show is not for me. I think I'm pretty notoriously not a cute girls doing cute things kind of guy. Sometimes I am, but usually I'm not. I think that I don't know. It does the moe thing well. They're vaguely gay together immediately. Because this has the girls love tag, I assume they'll be less vaguely gay together in the future. Which is honestly a little nice to see in a cute girls doing cute thing show, right? Like, if that does come to pass, because normally you see them just being vaguely gay together forever, and they never are not vaguely gay together. They're just vaguely gay together. You know, hopefully it does something like that. Space is cool. There's a lot of elements in the show that I like, and it's just tonally not my deal, though. If I had to score this, I'd probably give it like a 6 or a 5, and that's what I would suspect. What about you, Pete?
Yeah. We don't have to touch too much on it. If you're looking for that moe serotonin injection that you've been missing to tie you over until Bochi the Rock season 2, I think this will give you a hit. It's not as pure as the Bochi crack, but you know, Stardust Telepath, it's still that you're still sprinkling that white, and you're still getting a hit of it, but it doesn't do as much as other cute girls doing cute girls show. I don't think it's as good as DIY. I don't think it's as good as Bochi. I don't think it's good as like Laid Back Camp, but it gets me what I want. I think by the end of the season, I think this is probably going to be in like the 6 to 7 range. I don't see it being like bad. It's just like, if you like cute moe shows, here's one for you.
You score this a 6 at the end of the year and then say it was a good time. That's what you'll do.
Yeah, 6s can be fun. Yeah, it could be a fun 6. Fun 6s every now and then. Yeah, so that's what I'm leaning with Stardust Telepath. And our last show on the Yuri block, which isn't Yuri, but people were calling it Yuri baiting. I don't know why. We got Shy.
Forgot to put Shy on the list.
Well, we're talking about it now.
I was like, my boss is Goofy.
My boss is Goofy is a yaoi.
Yeah, yes.
But Shy, the first episode, what it really did to me is, it's one reason why Hero 2 is my favorite episode of My Hero Academia, is really questioning what it is to be a hero and questioning like why you're doing it. And while I do think that the theatrics of the first episode were a little over dramatized, I really do like the message that Shy is kind of sending with her character. Also, there is a drunk Russian superhero, and all she does is drink vodka. Her name is Pepesha. She's fantastic. I love that character. Anytime there's a drunk Russian in anime, 10 out of 10. Miles, your thoughts on Shy?
Shy is a show that I will not be watching any more of unless someone tells me that it gets better, because I could see it doing that. Episode 1 hit on like so many of my least favorite superhero tropes. And just like, I don't know, it just seemed like very cowardly to like, I get the whole, it does the like Civil War thing, right? Like where it's like, oh, what are heroes and should we have heroes and da 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 da. But like the situation is, and spoilers if you haven't watched it, she saves everyone. One person gets hurt. That person ends up being fine, by the way. Then everyone's like, oh, should the police have done it instead of a hero? She could fly. The police wouldn't have been able to do anything. She saved everyone except for one person from this roller coaster. That one person is alive because of her. Would have absolutely died otherwise. She is filled with self-doubt. People are doubting heroes because of this situation. And like, I get that people are critical of public figures and everything, but like that's just not how it would happen. Like have her mess up and kill the girl. Like
Ooh,
do it. Have her make a mistake.
See, I think something like right-wing Twitter would definitely be on Shy's case for not saving everybody.
Okay, look, superheroes are just cops, Pete.
Whoa, what? Whoa, this show's a 0.
Like at least my copy of Watchmen over there is telling me that.
That's true.
Like sure, people would be like critical of her, but like I don't think people in like the supermarket would be like, should we have heroes? And I also think, to me, the stakes were just like way too low. I guess it was like one person not being completely healthy during a disaster that would have killed, let's say, 20 people, right? And so instead you had 19 people who were fine and one person injured instead of 20 deaths. And so I guess I would just like, I don't mind the theming and stuff, but like sell it to me is like my thought with it.
Yeah, I get that. I think part of it being like a 14-year-old or however old she is part of that as well, where like she's coming to terms, because I think she's only been like a superhero for like not super long, and part of it is just figuring out these, I guess, like scenarios where like she can't save everybody sometimes. And I think that, you know, for the market that this is trying to present it in, I think that they did a good job at portraying that message. I think if you were, you know, maybe a little bit more older characters where I think you could have had like death, I think that could have been like a more serious message if like, say, Shy was like 21 or something like that. And then really try to portray that to like an older audience. I think that this is meant for, I think it is a shonen. You know, this is really, I think the demographic it's trying to hit, its storytelling is hitting. I do think that we're maybe a little aged out of it, but I do, for as much as the points that you're making, I agree with. I think diving into like what it means to be a hero is a cool concept that I really enjoy about superheroes, and seeing it through the perspective of Shy is a little different when trying to portray this message. I like it better than what they did in like My Hero through like 5 seasons that I watched. So props to Shy for doing that in like 3 episodes. So I think this is okay so far. I like the relationship. I like that Shy sort of had like Peter Parker this, where she had to tell like one person who she is, and now she can kind of like let that, she can like kind of de-stress with her.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you only watched the first episode. The second episode, the girl finds out who Shy is in real life.
Yeah,
so they become friends. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
neat.
I like that aspect of it. So I think when it's all said and done, this is probably gonna be like, I think just like a really solid 7 is what I'm leaning.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'd probably give it like a 6. And like the reason I'm not watching it is because I'm a dad and old and stuff now, and like
cranky.
I just don't have that time to like continue all those shows.
Oh, I get
so
it.
Like, yeah. But like It's also a show that like I could see getting better. There's like elements in place
For
that I
sure.
could see doing it. I just don't suspect they will, so I'm waiting to hear about it, basically.
Yep. All right. Yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Okay, moving on though. We're out of our Yuri block. Now we're on to our Yaoi block. We got My Boss is Goofy. This is a show that I made Miles watch at least one episode for because through 3 episodes, I love this show. I think it is so fun what they are doing with this, I don't know, silly style of comedy. It's goofy style of comedy. Just sort of introducing the 2 main leads, I guess, the boss and like the Kohai senpai type of thing. And like the senpai really being like oblivious to like situations and not knowing how to handle it, but still trying to be like that senpai character that the Kohais look up to. So like when he had like a stomach ache, he ran to like 7-Eleven and got PMS, like cramp pills because his girlfriend used to get cramps and this helped her. And some stuff like that was like low key hilarious. Handing him like a note when it is actually like his grocery list and stuff like that. Like these really silly minor moments making me laugh. And then sort of in the next couple episodes, have you only watched 1 episode?
Yep.
Okay, well in the 3rd episode they get a cat, or I guess the manager gets a cat.
Oh yeah, is it the cat from the OP?
Yeah. They get a cat and it kind of changes the dynamic a little bit of the show being all about comedy, the kind of having like a touching episode. So far through 3 episodes, I'm loving My Boss is Goofy. Miles, your thought on being goofy?
Yeah, so it was fine.
Damn it.
Had its funny moments. The boss wasn't super goofy. The boss was kind of dumb.
Yeah, but he's goofy.
Is he?
He bought PMS pills for a dude. That's goofy.
Is that goofy?
Yeah.
Or is that... Well, one, I just looked up what Midol has in it, and it has acetaminophen, caffeine, and an antihistamine. So I think it actually would have just worked. But like,
okay, nerd.
Sorry. I mean, I don't know. It was fine. Like, I think that it's a you show. Like, it's an adult cast. Show. It's the workplace thing, right? You love all of those elements. Like, I honestly might give this another episode or 2. It's interesting to me. I think... Like, I don't think they're supposed to be gay, right?
No, I don't think they're supposed to be, but...
Like, they are, though, right?
Yeah,
like, are we on board with that? Okay.
Yeah, I ship them, for sure.
Yeah, okay, me too. So, I'm glad about that. I'm glad we're on the same page there. But yeah, I think, like, it's nice to see this guy be happy with his new job and, like, sort of get out of his, like, little abusive relationship with his last boss. It'll be interesting to see how that gets brought up more or anything.
Yeah, it's a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, like it'd be interesting to see the people somewhere, and there's a lot of interesting.
You will
things
see it. Yeah, watch episode 2.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay, it's really quick. Okay.
Yeah, it kind of has like episode 2 kind of switches it from being like a pure comedy to kind of like more drama-ish. It's still funny, but like I think they touch on. I think everybody has had like a really shitty job at some point with like shitty managers and stuff like that. And they kind of do like a good episode about that in episode 2, while being funny, but at the same time, really hitting that. I think, at least for me, someone who has had, I've quit a job on the spot before. That's kind of like how I felt in episode 2. Yeah.
Okay.
So just like when you have like the worst like upper management, you just like fuck this. Like I really felt that in episode 2. But yeah, to me, if you're looking for like a pure, like fun comedy slice of life, My Boss is Goofy, honestly, is one of my favorite shows so far this season. I have it like right now, I have it at an 8 on Mal, and I think it's probably going to stay like a really solid 8 throughout the entire season.
Yeah, to me, this is sort of like a 6 or a 7. I think probably. To me, it's not super funny. It's not funny. It's the entire time I'm just like, huh. That's just how I am the entire show. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, huh. That was nice. Look at that.
Hey, look at that. I see what they did there.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Oh, he thought the branch was a cat. Fun. Like, that's
silly cat. Okay, I mean, I'll take that. No problems here. So
okay.
That's My Boss is or my new boss is a goofy. I guess it's technically what it's called. Moving on to a show that I put this on the list because I need to rant. It is called Our Dating Story: The Experienced You and the Inexperienced Me. Gentlemen out there, if you think a girl who is in a committed relationship has sex with her boyfriend and then no longer has a boyfriend and then gets another boyfriend and has sex with him, she's not a whore. I should be acting shocked, but I'm not. According to Twitter and Mal forums, and all these people think that because a girl's not a virgin, she's a whore. Guess what, guys? That's not the case. And that's kind of what leads us into this story, is that dynamic of having the main female lead not being a virgin, and sort of like the school knowing that. I guess she's seen more as somebody who gets around, I would say. And then we have the, nerdy MC who has the balls to man up one day, and then she says yes to dating him. So starting our journey there, and through 3 episodes, I'm really enjoying this story, kind of like what they're trying to portray in just like a healthy relationship of people sort of communicating their wants and needs, whether it's physical or emotional, in a high school setting. I feel like is not all the time touched upon, or if it is more serious, especially like the sexual stuff, it's seemed as like comedic. And this, to me, I feel like there's like a really good undertone of it being a very serious issue with Runa, her character, and sort of the main reason why she had sex essentially with her boyfriends is because she felt like it was her duty as a girlfriend to sort of do that. It never seemed like it's something she wanted, and I think that's a really cool touching point of the story, and sort of seeing the male lead hold back, because I think most dudes would probably, at the opportunity of getting laid, would go for it. And then this guy is like, the nice guy, but really portraying his emotions in that situation, especially I believe it's like his first girlfriend. So I just think that's great. I'm rambling a little bit. Miles, what are your initial thoughts on Our Dating Story?
Yeah, this is a bit of a surprise for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I have like a little different take. I think what they're doing with Runa is fine, but like I guess I kind of wished that it was a little bit more sex positive. It's not like sex negative or anything. It's just I kind of wish Runa was like having
She's
sex.
like having sex,
is fun. Yeah, and like as opposed to it being like a sort of like a thing that she's not into, that like maybe people are taking advantage of her, or at least if they're not taking advantage, it's just something she expects herself to do, but I don't mind the approach they're taking. I think I just would have thought the other one would have been like a little bit more interesting, for at least in like an anime perspective, right? Because we don't see that a ton.
Yeah.
Well, we don't see this a ton either.
I feel like if it was like that, it would go into just based off of, I mean, I would be great if they didn't do this, but just based off like manga and anime, it would get a little bit too smutty, I feel like, and really portray it in not the way that they want to.
Yeah, true. I mean, you don't have to, right? Because like I'm fine with like our main character not wanting to because he's not ready, right?
Mhm.
Like anyways.
You're still not ready. Yeah, that's what you're trying to say.
I'm still not ready. And I've only been married for 2 years, so
yeah, and you have a son, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, let's not think too hard about that.
I'll gloss it over.
But I think this is neat. I think it shows an interesting like portrayal of the relationship and how they're getting to know each other, and like it's nice to see people like the new relationship, but like people like both of them put effort into it, which is cool, right? Like they've already put more effort into it than that guy from Shikamori did the entire time. So like that's nice. I think this. I'm really excited to just post that this childhood friend is best girl in our Discord, because she seems like she's evil.
Did you watch the 3rd episode?
No, yes, I did.
Yeah, she's clearly evil.
Yeah.
Because I don't think when she took the picture, you saw the color of her fingernails, and then in the scene we see the color of her fingernails, and they're the same color.
Yeah. So like I am excited about that.
You want the drama. You're ready for the spice.
I'm ready for the drama because I think like evil is cool.
Evil is cool.
Yeah. I'm pretty excited about that. I think that I also like how like her friend is like just mad at him all the time because he's a loser. It's just like I don't know. I think they've done like a pretty good job of portraying what this would be like in high school, right? If the hot girl started dating you, Pete.
Yeah, I get it. As somebody whose high school girlfriend was way hotter than me, I get it.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean that's
yeah. I am interested in the spice that's coming up, especially what we got after episode 3. I think it's going to add some element to it. I just hope like that's expanded on her character. It's not like she's just evil for the sake of being evil, because based off what we saw from her background, she seems like a really nice girl. So something happened in the 3 years where we didn't see her, where she's no longer the nice girl, I guess, anymore. So I hope it doesn't turn into like a love triangle, though. Like, I hope that she's just mean. Like,
yeah, but I hope she's just mean and it turns into a love triangle.
God damn it, Miles.
I love love triangles. I think they're great. And they're like never done correctly, so I get why everyone hates them, but sometimes they're awesome.
2 out of every 100, that's like...
really like Origairu, Pete.
Origairu's love triangle is fantastic. I don't care what anyone says. But so far, through 3 episodes, which is... the show has a 6.74 on Mal. I have it at an 8. I think it's really good. Like, throughout what we've seen so far, the message it's sending, the dialogue that they've had, the little car talk that they had in the 2nd episode where he's comparing her to like a car, and it was like he's like the shy, nervous guy. But like, it obviously seems like he has a thing for cars. Where like he broke out of his shell and wasn't even paying attention to the words he was saying. He's just so passionate about cars. It's like, okay, cool. We're getting something from him as well. That he's not just this nerdy dude. Like, he can break out of his shell and be charismatic when he wants to be about certain subject matter. And I like that a lot. But yeah, through 3 episodes, I think this is a solid ass show. I have it at an 8. I feel like by the end of the season, it's probably gonna be like a 7. I think the highs are probably soon, so we'll see. But right now, yeah, 7, 8.
Yeah, I mean, I think I would give this an 8. I don't even think that I necessarily know if it'll go down. Like, it definitely could. Like, it's definitely one of those shows that could go down, but it might not. And I really like it. I think that they've done a good job of having him have a personality, as you've mentioned. I don't necessarily know if I would call him charismatic at any point, but passionate for sure, which people find attractive, right? Because like part of when he was talking about the cars, he was like overwhelming her because he was like going on a nerd rant. And I get that, you know?
Me, when I have like 12 drinks in me and I start talking about anime.
Yeah, exactly. And so... you know, but like he like made that like map for her for like the boba tea, and he did all like the testing. And as someone who has a spreadsheet for everything, like I like that.
Yep.
So you know, I they've done a good job of fleshing out the characters. I'm excited to learn more about Runa. Like, I think Runa seems like a really nice girl and everything, but I don't think she has a ton of depth currently. Other than her like familial backstory, right? But like, I want to know more about her interests and stuff.
Yeah, because like she's like fashionable and stuff like that, but it's not really explained. Like, other than her being like a kind of a gairu, like what else is going on that brings her? Because she seems like she's like a huge like nerd too, unless she just really likes what's that phone game everybody all the moms play? Candy Crush. She's just a big Candy Crush addict.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely has stuff. I just want that to sort of be fleshed out, and I'm pretty excited for Best Girl Maria to do Best Girl things. Okay.
Well, we'll definitely bring that back up at the end of our review for sure. But that is our dating story. Last original, our first season show that we're going to be talking about is the 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Like You.
Daisuke.
Coming into this, heard great things. And I like the idea of it sort of us getting off of the backs of Orisuke. Is this the better version of it? And through 3 episodes, I definitely think it is. I'm having a fantastic time watching this. It's significantly more funnier than I thought it was going to be. I really didn't like, because like the thing is, like, they make fun of like some fan servicey stuff, but then also do the trope thing where like Hikari, the big titty girl, like her thing is like, I guess she's just horny and like she doesn't wear underpants and stuff like that. So like when we get like upskirt shots of her, it's like 3/4 of an ass cheek. It's like that's still the fan service that you're getting. And then there was like the second episode with the cat, which was a little odd with the tsundere girl. But outside of that, I think like the concept itself has been really good. The dialogue has been great. The stuff that like sticks out to me was like the milliliter indirect kiss scene where like he couldn't do it because like one of the drinks had like 15 more milliliters than the other, and then trying to get around the indirect kiss type of trope. That was really fun. And I just think like the characters, like I'm a sucker for tsunderes regardless. Like I like that. And sort of just him playing this joke of like, you know, we're at 2 girlfriends. The newest episode, you got the 3rd girlfriend. How are we going to handle 4 or 5, et cetera, et cetera. I think that plot and how that's going to be handled is sort of like what drives the show essentially. And so far through 3 girlfriends, it's been great. Miles, your initial thoughts on the 100 girlfriends who daisuki you.
You want to hear the secret, Pete?
Yeah.
Pete, the show is ass. The show is so bad. I fucking hate this show. Oreski, better than this.
You had me fooled.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I did not think you were going to hate the show.
Well, everyone was saying really good things about it. And so I went to watch it, and I was all excited. And it's not good. It's a bad TV show. Everything about it is bad. Our main character, no personality. Our girls, just complete tropes. The pacing of the jokes, F tier. You were like, oh, other than the 3-minute scene where they're all just sexually harassing each other. It was
yeah, outside of that, yeah.
Okay, you forgot about. I mean, what was that vice principal bit?
Oh, that was weird too. Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, Pete, the show is bad. It's not good.
Then why do I have it as a 9 on Mel?
Yeah, you're gonna have to think about that. I because like, I mean, I guess to me there are maybe some fun bits in it. However, I think we're letting stuff go. I think everyone is just ignoring the cat fingered her.
Kind of. He like slapped her around.
Yeah, it was some over the pants stuff. But like, what the fuck was that? What was that scene?
That was weird.
It happened. Okay, and that's in the same scene. It's the same thing where the vice principal shoves her tongue of her eldritch horror of it. Why? Why is that? Is that like, what's the joke supposed to be? Is that a thing in Japan?
Yeah, I don't know what the joke is supposed to be. I'll be honest with you. You're making very good points right now.
Like, sometimes they did the fan service stuff like overly much, and I thought it was funny. Like when Hikari was like boobing her way like out of things and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so like sometimes I thought that was funny, but as you mentioned, they also just do the fan service thing. I like tsunderes, but like, I mean, I guess, are we ever expecting these characters to do anything else besides what they're doing now? Because I'm not expecting them.
That's a good. Well, I will give a spoiler in the manga down the road when he has like 26 girlfriends. The girls have an idea of turning themselves into a mecha, and they're a 26 girlfriend mecha. I think that is character development.
That sounds really funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I got nothing.
Okay. Yeah, like I guess like my thought is like, one, the cast is going to get too big at some point, because from what I've heard, the author wants there to be 100 of these girls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 2, what does this show offer as far as a twist on the harem genre that Oreski didn't offer? That's my question for you.
Well, I guess he is technically dating 3 girls at this point. So instead of it playing the fact that he's not dating any of them, he actually is dating them, and he's already kissed 2 of them. So got that going for him. So I guess that is kind of parodying it because he's actually having development in his relationship.
Yeah, I guess he's had development in the relationship. Kind of. Because, like, what is their relationship? Why do they like each other? Because they do.
Cursed. Yeah, they're like...
Yeah, okay. Right? Yeah, and, like, fair enough. But, like, also, for me... I guess you can just cut to the chase, right? Like, you can just do that. Like, these people like each other because it's funny if they do. Except for they don't like each other, they like him. But, like, why? I don't know. I just, like, I like my characters to have personalities, you know? And I just don't think these people do. I think they're literally just tropes. I don't expect them to ever not be just tropes. Because, like, the Oreski girls had personalities. They had depth to them. And I'm not here to say that Oreski was some, like, fine piece of art. But, like, to me, calling this the better version of Oreski is just, like, a lie. Like, maybe this is funnier than Oreski. Like, that's certainly possible. But, like, I don't think it's just flatly better, because I just don't think we're gonna remember most of these like what, like, good Tsundere Girl. Yep. What does Tsundere Girl do that's different or unique or more fun than any Tsundere? I think the answer is nothing.
Well, I think like you know, the idea of, like, her paying him back with, like, juice, but then she doesn't know which type of juice to get, so then she buys like 100 different ones. I think, to me, that's kind of like slapstick funny. Like, I enjoyed that.
I'm not saying, again, sorry, like, the show has its funny moments and it does stuff like that. I guess, I don't know, everyone was talking, and maybe this is an expectations thing, but everyone was like, what a first episode. Mm-hmm. Oh my God.
Me.
Yeah, everyone. I mean, so many people in our Discord were talking about it. And, like, even Galaxy was like, wow, I liked this. It was really good. And he hates everything.
That's true.
So, like, yeah. And so I guess I was expecting it to be good. And
it wasn't. I got you.
It wasn't. I thought, to me, the jokes went by too quickly. Like, they would just say they would just say things. It was like a Childish Gambino song from 2011, where, like, someone would say something and then someone just says, like, a pun that's related to that thing.
Freaks and geeks all over again.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, I loved that in 2011. I thought it was great. But it's been 12 years and it's not not a rap anymore. Song. Yeah. And, like, I guess, like, the God part was, like, kind of funny, but, like, I think that, and this is 100% a true statement that I'm going to say here, right?
We'll see.
I think that he should kill one of them.
Ooh.
Because he can, right? Like, if he says that he doesn't love one of them, they die.
Correct.
And if it doesn't examine that, I think the show is a failure.
Wow, that's insane. That is an insane thing to say, and I'm glad that we have it on record that you said that.
I think having one of the girls be, like, a serial killer, and then he has...
Now you're spitting.
I'm just gonna... Okay, this is... I don't think
we've got... girl, there has to be.
100%, right? And he should kill her.
Ooh.
You know who... I'm gonna... do you mind light spoilers? I'm gonna read the description of girlfriend number 5.
Is that the science girl?
I have no idea.
Who's her?
Yeah, she's highly proficient in chemistry and able to concoct drugs and medicine. That's not the sentence I'm going to read.
Read the sentence you're going to read.
Age 18, though, one of her potions gave her an 8-year-old's appearance. Anyways, I just want you to keep that in mind when you look at that 9, which is 1 point higher than that girl's physical age.
I'll keep that in the back of my head, my man.
Got it.
Okay.
So you defend this, Pete. You let me do the Miles thing where I talk about why this is bad. Defend.
No, see, Miles is like this very analytic person. Well, he'll break down, you know, scene by scene, what this meant, what this means, blah blah blah. I keep it simple. I thought this shit was funny. I laughed. Sure, some of the fan service moments is pretty much the reason why I don't have it higher than it is. But if you ask me if I didn't enjoy the hell out of the show while I was watching it, I'd be lying. I thought the show was super fun. I like the third episode was a little less fan servicey and a little bit more fun, especially since the girl is like really shy and can't talk. I thought I like that type of switch from the two main girls that we had in the previous episode. I just think the show's a lot of fun. That's all it is. Like my enjoyment factor is through the roof. I don't have to analyze it like it's Schindler's List or something like that. The show is called The 100 Girlfriends Who Really, 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 Really Like You. I expect the show to be stupid, dumb fun, and I'm getting stupid, dumb fun. So that's why I'm rating it where it is. So I would recommend it. I have it at a 9. I don't think it's going to stay at a 9, but right now I'm having a lot of fun watching.
Yeah, I guess like I'm not going to recommend this show. Yeah. What I will say is that for God knows what reason, everyone else seems to like it. So you should probably check it out. And then when you agree with me, because you have good taste, let me know.
Yeah. Or if you agree with me and you have bad taste, let me know. Join our Discord. Links in the description below. Miles, that wraps up our newer shows of the season. Is there anything else that you're watching, plan to watch, sequels that we missed that you want to chime in on?
No. Do your thing,
cool.
Pete.
All right, sick. I thought I'd give you the shot. For me, sequels. Spy Family Season 2, I think, has been a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to when we actually start the plot. But through 3 episodes, I'm getting the love that I love from Spy Family, so no issues there. Undead Luck, I watched the first episode. I thought the pacing was really odd, but it's still fun. I really like Undead Luck, and we're getting to a course, so I'll be watching more of that. The Saints Magic is Omnipotent Season 2 started. A fun, like, shoujo isekai. Episode 3 was a banger. The Ball. Ooh, that shit was good. And then shows that I dropped. The Pig isekai. That show fucking sucks. When you refer to girls as young maidens like 6 times in an episode, it's so tip of the hat fedora. I just can't stand it. It was like way, way too cringe. And then another show that actually has like a very good rating on Mal is called Overtake, the F1 show. But it does the thing in anime that I hate where it's like the main character is a photographer and he's at like this F1 racing and he's just like, oh, wonder what this is. I'll take a picture of it. And then like a random guy comes in and be like, hey, let me explain everything that you just took a picture of. And they do that like 4 times in the first episode. Hate it. I hate that stuff.
Just out of curiosity, what's your Haikyuu season 1 score?
Like an 8 or a 9.
Okay, I'm just
but that show's fun, and they're like those kids are also like he lives in like the mountains, and he's like whatever. These are like grown ass men taking professional photos at an F1 thing. He's like, "What's an F1 car? Well, let me explain it to you, Johnny." It's like motherfucker, like. At the end of the episode, he decides to sponsor a team. He goes from knowing nothing to sponsoring a team in 1 episode. So I'm like,
is he the world's richest photographer?
I have no idea. It's really weird that like he sponsored a team and he's like, I don't think you're rich.
No.
Yeah. So I don't even know if it's like, I'm sure like the race scenes and stuff are like super cool. I just haven't gotten to it. 16-bit Sensation. It's the show of the girl who goes back into like the 90s to create B shoujo games. I think it's okay. That one's like on the fence for me. I might drop it. Some of the
Wait, that actually sounds really fun.
Yeah, there's parts of it that I like. The main girl can kind of get annoying at some point. She's the trope where she has like the fang sticking out of her lip, so she's that character, and it's all right. But it's like I've already seen like this character in situations before, so it's okay. It's on like the chopping block, but nothing crazy. And then what I'm still waiting for.
Yeah, it'd be a fang.
Yeah, you can check that out. Still waiting for Pluto. Pluto's, I think, is going to be an absolute banger. Based off the new PV that got released like 2 or 3 weeks ago, looks insane. And even though it's already been airing, JJK Season 2 has been fucking gas. It's crazy how good JJK is. So, shouts to that. But I think that is all.
You've not been watching Goblin Slayer Season 2?
I haven't started it. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little Goblin Slayered out. Because I have a feeling that this episode, or this season, he's going to slay some goblins. Don't know if I need more of that. Oh, I am watching MF Ghost. That's also another thing with like the car racing between MF Ghost and Overtake. I like MF Ghost a little bit more than Overtake, so I'm watching that for my car racing, and it has Eurobeat all day, baby. Yeah, I think that's it. Miles, do you have any last words that you want to say before I kill you?
Goodbye, everybody.
No, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you, the listener and or watcher. If you want to support us, the best way to do so, like, comment, subscribe, leave a review on whatever platform you are watching or listening to us on. Next week for Watch Club, we are doing Danganronpa for Halloween. We'll be dressing up, maybe, we'll see, and I gotta say, it's a fun show. Otherwise, for non-Watch Club stuff, we'll be doing something in 2 weeks. Don't know what it is, but you'll be getting content. So we will see you next week. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see you when we see you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye bye.